Children know things adults have forgotten. They hear melodies in the plumbing that aren't water moving through pipes. They see figures in doorways that vanish when you turn on the lights. And when their dog starts barking at nothing, trembling, terrified, they know it's not nothing at all. This is a story about the woman who lived in the walls, about the singing I heard as a child that my mother dismissed, and about the night she finally showed herself. Completely white, impossibly fast, and utterly silent. Some things don't need to speak to let you know they've been watching. I was 12 years old when I saw her clearly for the first time, but I'd known about her for years. We lived in an old apartment building on the east side of the city. Let's call it the Riverside Complex. 5 stories, built sometime in the 1960s, I think. The kind of place where the elevator always smells faintly of cigarettes and cleaning solution, and the hallways have that particular echo that makes every sound feel closer than it should be. Our apartment was on the 3rd floor. 2 bedrooms, my mom had one, I had the other. Small kitchen, living room with a window that looked out at the building across the street. It was just the 2 of us. Had been since I was 6 when my parents divorced. Mom worked long hours as a nurse, night shifts mostly, which meant I spent a lot of time alone. Well, not quite alone. I had Max. Max was a mutt, part German shepherd, part something else. Tan and black, big ears that swiveled towards sounds before I could hear them. He'd been with us since I was 7. Rescue dog. Anxious, protective, loyal to the point of obsession. If I was home, Max was within 10 feet of me. Always. That particular afternoon, the afternoon it happened, Mom had left for her shift around 2 p.m., wouldn't be back until 7 a.m. the next morning. Lock the door, she said, like always. Call if you need anything. Mrs. Chen downstairs has my number. I know, Mom. And don't stay up too late on your phone. I won't. She kissed my forehead. Left. The deadbolt clicked behind her. And then it was just me, Max, and the apartment, and whatever lived in the walls. When I was younger, maybe 7 or 8, I used to hear singing late at night when I was supposed to be asleep, or early in the morning before Mom woke up. It would come from inside the walls, specifically the wall that separated my bedroom from the hallway. A woman's voice, soft, melodic, not words exactly, just a humming tune. Something old-fashioned, the kind of melody that sounds like it belongs in a black and white movie or a music box. The first time I heard it, I thought it was the radio or a neighbor. I told my mom, "There's someone singing in the walls." She smiled, patient. "Sweetie, that's just the pipes. Water moving through the building. It makes noise sometimes. But it sounds like a song." Old buildings make all kinds of sounds. Nothing to worry about. I wanted to believe her, tried to believe her, but water doesn't sing in consistent melodies, doesn't stop mid-phrase when you get too close to the wall, as if it knows you're listening, doesn't resume when you walk away. I heard her, whatever, dozens of times over the years. Always the same tune, always from the same section of wall. And Max heard it too. He'd sit in my doorway,
ears forward, head tilted, staring at the wall like he was trying to see through it. Sometimes he'd whine, soft, uncertain, like he didn't know if what he was hearing was a threat or just presence. By the time I was 12, I'd learned to ignore it, to accept it as just another quirk of our old apartment. Just the pipes, just the building settling, just my imagination. Until that afternoon, when ignoring it stopped being an option.
I was in my room, door closed, lying on my bed with my headphones on, listening to music. Max was curled up at the foot of my bed, half asleep, content. It was around 5 p.m., still light outside. The apartment was warm, safe, normal. And then Max started barking. Not his usual bark, the one he used when someone knocked on the door or when he heard the neighbors moving around. This was different, urgent, aggressive. I pulled off my headphones. Max, what? He was on his feet now, standing on the bed, facing the door, barking continuously, loud, sharp, the kind of barking that makes your ears ring. Max, stop! It's just the neighbors! Our neighbors on the left were loud, always had been. Music, arguments, doors slamming. I'd gotten used to it. But Max kept barking. And then he jumped off the bed, ran to my bedroom door, stood there, nose inches from the wood, barking at something I couldn't see. That's when I felt it. A sensation in my chest. Not quite pain, not quite fear, just wrongness. Like the air pressure had changed, like something had shifted in the apartment that shouldn't have. Max, come here. He didn't listen, kept barking. I got up, walked over to him, patted his head. It's okay, buddy. Nobody's there. But he wouldn't calm down. His whole body was tense, trembling slightly. And for the first time, I wondered, what if he wasn't barking at the neighbors? What if he was barking at something else? Eventually, maybe after 10 minutes, he stopped, came back to the bed, lay down next to it on the floor. I put my headphones back on, tried to relax, told myself it was nothing, but my heart was still pounding.
Another 10 minutes passed. I was scrolling through my phone, music still playing. Max was calm. Everything seemed fine. And then I felt his body tense again. I looked down. He was curled up tight, not relaxed, not sleeping. His eyes were open, fixed on the door, and he was growling. Not the aggressive growl from before. This was different. This was fear. Low, continuous, the kind of sound a dog makes when it knows something is wrong but doesn't know what to do about it. I followed his gaze to the door. My bedroom door was solid wood, but at the top, maybe 6.5 feet up, there was a decorative glass panel. Frosted, translucent. You couldn't see through it clearly, but you could make out shapes, shadows, movement. I stared at that glass panel, and that's when I saw her. A figure moving past the glass, tall, slender, moving from left to right, from the direction of the living room toward the hallway that led to my mom's bedroom. And she was completely white. Not wearing white, not pale, white. Her dress, long, flowing, old-fashioned, was white. Her hair, long, down past her shoulders, was white. Her skin, every visible part of her, was white, like she'd been drained of all color, like she was made of milk or fog or bone. She moved fast, too fast, gliding more than walking. I didn't see her face. She passed too quickly, or maybe she didn't have one. I don't know. But I saw her. And Max saw her. He pressed himself against my legs, growling, shaking. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. My door was closed, locked. But she was out there, in my apartment, moving through the space like she owned it, like she'd always been there.
I don't know how long I stood there, frozen, staring at the door, waiting for her to come back, waiting for the doorknob to turn, waiting for that white figure to somehow pass through the wood and appear in my room. But she didn't. The apartment was silent. Max had stopped growling, but he refused to leave my side, pressed against my legs so hard I could feel him trembling. Slowly, so slowly, I backed away from the door, climbed onto my bed, pulled my blanket over both of us, and that's where I stayed, for hours, until I heard my mom's keys in the front door at 7 a.m. I never told her, never told anyone. Who would believe me? A 12-year-old seeing a white woman gliding through an empty apartment? They'd say I imagined it, that I was lonely, that I fell asleep and had a nightmare. But Max saw her too, and dogs don't have nightmares while they're awake. And that's when I started putting the pieces together. The singing I'd heard for years, the melody in the walls that my mom said was just pipes. It wasn't pipes. It was her. She'd been there the whole time, living in the spaces between the walls, moving through the apartment when we weren't looking, singing her song, waiting. And that day, for whatever reason, she decided to let me see her. Not to threaten, not to harm, just to acknowledge, to let me know she was there, had always been there, would always be there. We moved 3 months later, not because of her, or at least not officially. Mom got a job at a different hospital. Better pay, better hours. We found a newer apartment on the other side of the city. I didn't argue, didn't protest, didn't even feel sad about leaving. I wanted out of that building, away from that hallway, that bedroom, that wall, away from her. The night before we moved, I stood in my empty room one last time. Boxes packed, furniture gone, just bare walls and carpet stains and the smell of old dust. I listened, waiting for the singing, but there was only silence. And I wondered, was she gone? Had she left when she realized we were leaving? Or was she still there, pressed against the wall, listening to me listen for her? I'll never know. I'm 23 now, 11 years since that afternoon. Max passed away when I was 17. Old age, peaceful. He was a good dog. I live in a different city now, different state, modern apartment building. No singing in the walls, no figures in doorways. But sometimes, late at night, I'll hear a melody, faint, distant, like it's coming from very far away. And I'll wonder if she's still in that old apartment on the 3rd floor, still singing, still gliding through empty rooms, still waiting for someone to notice her. Or if she followed us when we moved, if she's been with me this whole time, just out of sight. Because here's what I've learned. Some things live in the spaces we don't look at. The gaps between walls, the shadows in peripheral vision, the silence between sounds. And once you've seen them, really seen them, you can never fully ignore them again. You'll always be listening, always watching, always wondering. Is that just the pipes? Or is it her? I still don't know. And I'm not sure I want to.
If you've lived in an old apartment building and heard things in the walls, singing, voices, sounds that weren't quite right, leave a comment. Tell me what you heard. If you've seen figures that shouldn't exist, shapes that moved too fast, entities that were watching you, you're not alone. Your story matters. Subscribe for more true horror stories from ordinary places, real encounters, real fear. And if you're listening to this in an old building right now, pay attention to the sounds around you. Is that the pipes? Or is someone singing?